Ethan Cole sat in his dark, rain-streaked New York apartment, staring at a number on his phone that refused to make sense. His banking app showed a liquid balance of exactly $3,842. It was a number that triggered an immediate, cold spike of panic. The math didn't align with his reality. Just 48 hours earlier, his monthly paycheck had cleared, $12,500. He had the title of senior product manager at a major tech firm. He had the stock options. He had the lucrative bonus structure. By every conventional metric, he was a top-tier earner. But pulling down a top percentile income does not automatically install a safety net under your feet. Ethan had the cash coming in, but somewhere in the system, it was vanishing. The apartment is filled with expensive Italian furniture and automated smart lighting, the kind of space that suggests a life without limits. The markers of wealth were everywhere. Down in the garage sat a leased, late-model luxury SUV. On his wrist, a watch that cost more than an average family earns in a month. Yet maintaining that facade was taking a heavy psychological toll. While his colleagues praised his success, he carried a quiet internal dread that his financial life was entirely hollow. Which forces the question, how is it mathematically possible to earn massive amounts of money, own luxury items, and still be functionally broke? The answer is that modern lifestyle inflation acts as an anesthetic. It easily masks the reality that you are still living paycheck to paycheck. You are simply doing it on a much larger, much more dangerous scale. To find the missing money, Ethan opened a spreadsheet. For the first time in his professional life, he aimed his analytical skills away from his job and toward himself. On his balance sheet, we list what Ethan owns: savings, stocks, 401k, and car value, a solid $124,000. Then liabilities drop in: $61,000 in student loans, a $31,000 car note, and high credit cards. Subtracting debts from assets leaves a devastating net worth, just $17,500. Net worth is the only honest metric of your financial health. High asset values are an illusion if they are heavily propped up by compounding debt. Looking for a way out, Ethan brought his spreadsheet to an older, quiet investor named Marcus Hale. Marcus looked at the numbers and laid down a simple rule: income is simply what you earn. Net worth is what you keep. Marcus identified a breakdown in the system. Ethan was dealing with a chronic flow problem. This flowchart maps his monthly ecosystem. A $12,500 influx hits his account and instantly drains into wide output pipes: rent, car payment, dining, and subscriptions. At the bottom, the remaining cash is zero. His system is engineered to drain resources. Earning a high income without controlling the cash flow doesn't build security. It simply scales up your liabilities, trapping you in an endless, expensive cycle of maintenance. Ethan finally understood that he possessed significant capital, but it was severely misallocated. He started making uncomfortable cuts. The leased luxury SUV was the first thing to go, replaced by a reliable used vehicle. He audited his daily habits and slashed his overall lifestyle spending by 40%, capping the outgoing pipes to halt the cash flow bleed. With the bleeding stopped, he redirected that newly freed capital. He aggressively attacked his high-interest credit card debt and began funneling steady cash into index funds and cash flow assets. Changing your financial trajectory requires a hard reset. You have to be willing to dismantle the external illusion of wealth to fund the internal mechanisms that actually build it. 1 year later, Ethan sits in the same apartment in the same city, but the numbers on his screen tell a different story. Looking at this side-by-side comparison, the difference is clear. His assets surged to $198,000, while liabilities shrank to $62,000. When the second balance sheet consolidates, we see a new net worth of $136,000, a leap achieved by changing his income flow. The luxury car, the prestigious job title, the external status, those are fragile. They are tied to circumstance and can disappear tomorrow. True peace of mind comes from knowing your net worth. It is your actual, unshakable position when everything else is stripped away.